Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Underrail. Wir sind immer noch bei den Chord und gucken uns hier jetzt in diesem Gebäude noch weiter um. Das ja nicht gerade klein ist. Jetzt kommen wir, glaube ich, in den Flügel rein, der eigentlich gesperrt sein sollte. Wenn es lädt. Ah ja. Jortis Pyro 4. The reservoir duo seems to be guarding the entrance to this gloomy corridor. The smell of mold and staleness emanates from the faraway darkness. The few lit flares thrown around do nothing to erase the feeling of consuming darkness dwelling at the end of the hallway. You are stopped by the female reservoir and the conversation begins with an already anticipated warning. Stop, brother. This is the Institute's West Wing. I would highly recommend turning around and going back, unless, of course, you have a death wish. What is so dangerous about the West Wing? What isn't? One moment you could have a piece of ceiling drop right on your head and smash your skull. The second, a deadly creep might jump straight from the shadow and cull you on the spot. We don't go there, brother. Well, except for Efretia Matteo and a reservoir unit that went with him. But they still haven't returned. Look, I can't stop you from going there, but I can warn you. The rest is up to you. Why don't you just bar the doors and leave this place be? Doesn't that make more sense than having guards here? Well, they were barred before, brother. Efretor Matteo and his reservoirs were the reason we opened the cursed doors. Now we have to stand guard in case they come back, but that's very unlikely by now. Still, orders are orders. Truth be told, with all the strange things happening, I mean, stranger than usual, I personally think it's better to have reservoirs here until the situation is cleared. Plus, I am sure Adian and His Excellency Harmust Stavros know best. You like being here, is that what you're trying to say? I meant reservoirs that aren't us, you and me, sorry for the confusion. Oh, brother. What can you tell me about Efretor Matteo? The two reservoirs glance at each other. He and a unit of reservoirs were dispatched into the West Wing to investigate a strange electromagnetic disturbance detected by the Department of Physics, which made them turn to preservation. They claimed that there is something in the West Wing emitting these waves, something important enough to warrant sending a unit to the West Wing. Before them, I think the last time someone went there was the year Monsignor Peter died. Year 67, I remember my mother telling me about that particular entry to the West Wing when I was very young. But it's a pretty grim story. I think it's best if I skip telling it. When was Efretor's unit sent there? 5 days ago, I believe. Brother, interestingly, shortly after that, Pavel, a reservoir, volunteered to go there, something for the Department of Physics, and he too never returned. So I hope you understand, Kordanor, that this beautiful West Wing is a dangerous place. Proven. What can you tell me about the West Wing? You mentioned someone named Pavel going to West Wing. Yes, he was one of us reservoirs. He was crazy enough to accept a task from P.I. Steff from the Department of Physics. It was something about some terahertz device, was it? Yeah, tray generator tech that allows for through-wall imaging. At least that is what the investigators of physics claim. Pretty epic stuff, if what they say is true. Yes, well, that epic stuff got him culled. Just the thought of being swarmed by those vile West Wing creeps sends shivers down my spine. Poor Pavel. What can you tell me about the West Wing? Well, it is the West Wing of the Institute building, and it's been in ruins for long before most of us were even born. We guard the entrance to it so that no creeps can sneak in and, well, cull anyone. Why don't you just clear it out? It is in very, very bad condition. Everything is in ruins, and there's always the chance that something might come crashing down on you. And that's as unwanted as a triploidy. Also, there's just no use going there. The other parts of the Institute offer enough space as it is. Those few who dared go there haven't returned. Truthfully, we don't even know what resides there anymore, and I hope we never have to. Can you at least tell me what to expect? I'm just curious if you have any clues as to what creatures there are in the West Wing. So far, the only creeps we've seen are coil spiders and shadow crawlers, but who knows what else is there. They would sometimes sneak around, usually alone, but we kill them quickly. Still, we never had any major issues or breaches at this checkpoint, which is Apex. You know, I just remembered one more thing. Sometimes we hear very strange sounds coming from the darkness. It's strange, like nothing I've heard before. It doesn't sound like an animal or anything similar. I don't know. Can you describe it? I don't know. I would describe it as electrical sounding brother. Electrical sounding brother? Something like an electrical discharge of sort. Unlike, as sister said, anything we ever heard before. Electrical? Yeah, I too think that is the best description. Electrical. Magnificent shot. The more I think about it, the scarier it gets. So, let's stop it. Guarding this hallway is already spooky enough. I go where it's safe. Goodbye, sister. Short guide you. Gut, dann gucken wir uns auch erst noch die anderen Ecken an. Da geht's runter. Gucken wir erstmal die Ebene durch. Da haben wir noch eine Tür. Der hackelt aber auch gerade ganz gut. Eine Vase. Mit Schrott drin. Super. Aha. Performs a shortest salute. If the faceless come bothering us here, we will squash them like bugs. Episkopos Lydia. You come up to a slim, middle-aged woman who welcomes you to her office with an indistinct gaze, while her attractive face, marked by prominent green eyes, has an even, almost wrinkle-free appearance. Her deeply lined, scrawny fingers and her loose neck skin are an honest indicator of her true age. Her voice is calm and collected, and only slightly rough on the edges. Additionally, more than one thing about her appearance and behavior seem familiar to you, but you cannot immediately figure out why. Short is evolution. May I help you? Evolutionist Short. I'm Kordanor and I had some questions for you, if you have the time. Kordanor, yes, I know exactly who you are. I'm Episkopos Lydia. Welcome to my office. I have very little time to chat, so I ask of you to make your questions brief and as concise as possible. Now, what is it you needed of me, Kordanor? What did you do here? What do you do here? You mean, in a sense, what jobs does an Episkopos perform? If so, then the answer is simple. Episkopos oversees and manages all 3 departments within investigation. I have been on this position for, I'd say, almost 10 years, and during that time we have had numerous achievements. Does that answer your question, Kordanor? Could you tell me more? I'm really curious. Then you will have to wait for more appropriate moment. I have plenty work to do at the moment, and time is short. What can you tell me about investigation? Investigation can be summarized easily with a single word: knowledge. As you know by now, I hope, Chortism views Chorts as both a physical entity and a symbol of knowledge related to it. But it doesn't stop there, Kordanor. The evolution of humankind does not benefit just from genetic research. For example, by making ourselves physically resilient, like, let's say, the recombinants. Physical form is only one fragment of the complex natural puzzle we've obliged ourselves to solve, and the investigation's goal is to discover each and every one of these fragments. Knowledge is key, Kordanor. That is all from me. For other details regarding investigation, you are to seek a Preposter Amelia. I will leave you now. Your Eminence, short guide you. Short guide you, brother. Was steht denn da? Some science. Sent to take. Das kann ich nicht sehen. Sent. Keine Ahnung, das darunter ist nicht mehr zu lesen, aber da steht, würde ich sagen, some science. Provost Vladan. The instant you make your presence known, the 2 men turn their heads towards you. They both look to be in their late 50s and based on their robe decorations seem to be of some higher authority in the Chartist hierarchy. Without hesitation, one of them, the man with the pointier, skinnier face, speaks to you with a determined yet smooth voice. Excuse me, brother, I don't know who you are, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave this office. Judicator Azarias and I are in the middle of an important discussion and really cannot afford to be interrupted. The other man is quick to join in. His round, wrinkled face, which has a stern expression ever since you came in, quickly turns red. His voice is only slightly deeper, but significantly harsher, even a bit strained, than the other man's, making him sound much more imposing. Magnificent Chort! What is the meaning of this audacious intrusion? How dare you barge into Provost's office like that? Please calm down, Judicator. Remember what Brother Jerry Franz told you about getting upset. Think of your health. Also, come to think of it, I believe this young man here is the novitiate who retrieved the reaching man from the feral lunatics, which of course does not give him the right to, as you say, barge into my office, he smiles. Still, we can forgive him for this act under the assumption that it never repeats again. Correct, novitiate? Judicator calms down. If you say so, Vladan, I mean, your great honor, but were this my office, an act of disrespect such as this would not be tolerated so light-heartedly, I assure you. I have no doubt in your words, Judicator, he smiles. Now, young novitiate, I will ask you again politely to leave us to our discussion. Thank you. I'm very sorry I interrupted you and will leave this office at once. Provost, Judicator, short guide you both. But I had questions. I thought this was the toilet. My bad. Goodbye. Short guide you both. Apologies accepted. We will forget this ever happened. Short guide you, novitiate. Ups, habe ich falsche Taste gedrückt. Amelia. Kordanor, I'm very pleased to see you. What can I do for you? Can you tell me more about the West Wing? The West Wing had been in ruins long before the existence of Institute of Chort and was always sealed off from the rest of the building. When a large earthquake of year 24 struck and demolished the library, refectory, and a goods part of the main hall. A discussion took place whether to restore the West Wing together with everything else. Since the Institute building is very large, and especially back when the number of members was smaller, there was no need to rebuild the severely damaged West Wing. It would take away too many resources from other more important things. Das hat man alles schon. Short guide you, Prepostor. Short guide you, Kordanor. Und die sind abgesperrt. Hier unten dürfen wir noch lang. Oha. Skopif top 4. Good job returning the reaching man, brother. Joy and preservation if you have the guts. Haha. Denzel und Samuel. Before you even had the chance to say anything, one of the two men points at you and speaks in a familiar, enthusiastic voice. Ah, Kordanor, good of you to finally show up. I mean, the Mediant and I were just discussing how you retrieved the reaching man from the clutches of those devolved inbreds, and the Ephratia is cut short by a resolute voice coming from the other man, one whose different and arguably more elaborate uniform markings introduce as someone of superior rank in the shortest hierarchy than Ephratia Denzel. One of the symbols, an eye with three adequisant tentacles sprouting out of it, is similar to the one on Ephratia Denzel's bearing the extra tentacle. Silence! I have heard it already, and our brother already knows it from first-hand experience, no? Kordanor, I am Median Samuel, the second in command of Preservation Forces of the Institute of Chort. Welcome to my office. Chort is evolution. Evolution is Chort. Indeed it is, brother. Now I need you to wait a few moments for me to finish with the Ephratia and send him away. This won't take long. Your notability? Mediant? I don't understand. What you mean, send me away? Then let me explain it, Ephratia. As soon as we are done here, you are going to take your reservoir unit and lead them to patrol the upper Underrail, routes W1 through N5. The theft of the reaching man revealed how susceptible we are to having our couriers intercepted by like lunatics and other inbred lowlifes. I want the area surrounding the Institute secure at all times. At all times. Infuriation seeps from the Ephratia. His body language reveals it, yet, for a brief second before replying to the Mediant, he calms down and, differently than what you've seen him do before, sounds more sad than angry. Your notability, I worked hard with Kordanor to locate and retrieve the reaching man, to bring it back in time for the anniversary, as is my duty to the Institute, Aiden and Chort. You realize that? I know you do. Yet I am rewarded for my hard work by being sent on a meaningless patrol. Worked hard? Don't make me laugh, Ephratia. If I was idling away in front of the Institute gate and waiting for a passerby, a complete stranger, to ask for help, constitutes as hard work, then by all means you deserve a promotion, no? Perhaps even replace me, if that is what you desire? It is not how it happened, Mediant. I was, if you... Silence! I don't want to hear another word from you. Ephratia, did you really think that your babbling and bootlicking would make me forget how the whole situation was handled? Yes, even though the figurine is back in our hands, it is not because of you, but because of a chain of very fortunate events. and the help of Kordanor, who, by the chart, did a lot more than you. Now out, you have your orders, Ephrata, chart guide you. Overflowing with disappointment, the Ephrata leaves with a barely audible farewell. Chart guide you, your notability. Wait for the Ephrata to leave. Kordanor, I am really sorry you had to take part in this. I have zero tolerance for such. I don't even know how to describe it. Incompetence. That is the adequate term. Now, you on the other hand, are exactly the opposite. You adapted yourself to the situation at hand beautifully. Culled the lunatic vermin and retrieved the valuable figurine and achieved your goal. You became a member of our beautiful institution. Perfect. Survival of the fittest at its best. No? Now, I have been dying to meet you. Not literally, of course. Let us have that to someone else. He laughs. I have work for you. A test, if you will. But if you had some questions before we start, feel free to ask them now. When did you join the Institute of Chart and why? I'm afraid I dislike discussing that subject, brother. Why not? I will not answer that question to someone I barely know. Anything else you wanted to ask me? What can you tell me about the West Wing? I hope her notability Prepositor Amelia didn't miss warning you about the West Wing, no? Well, no, brother. The truth is that a warning is the only concrete information that you can get regarding the West Wing. The sad truth is, we don't know what horrors exist in that wretched place, and after what happened more than 30 years ago, we weren't too eager to finding out what happened 30 years ago. It is a long story, perhaps you should visit Prepositor for that, no? What can you tell me about the West Wing? What can you tell me about preservation? Preservation is one of the Institute's divisions, the one concerned with preservation chart. Preserving chart. This institution and all its members, our reservoirs, are among the best trained troops in Underrail. Only we haven't had the chance to show to outsiders, no? He laughs. How does one become a reservoir? First thing is dedication to Institute of Chart and its ideology. Without it, everything else becomes meaningless. Second is hard work and rigorous training. Without it, one will not be able to perform his duties within preservation forces. Third and final is adaptation to any and all situations that the reservoirs might encounter. I think that covers everything, no? Good. Can you tell me about Harmost? Harmost Stavros commands all preservation forces and relays his orders to a mediant, which is currently me, who then relays them to troops below. His Excellency is a wise man with years of experience and a great sense of strategy. He was a student of Monsignor Marshall after all. No? When can I meet him? When he returns from Kaitosin outpost in deep caverns. When will that be? I'm not sure, brother. Kaitosin outpost? Yes, it is the first line of defense between the Faceless and our positions in deep caverns. So basically you are in charge until he returns. That is correct, brother. Communication between this location and deep caverns is unreliable at the moment, so Harmost had to leave the command to someone capable enough, no? So I have been trying to do my best to maintain everything as if His Excellency were here himself, as if I was in his position, in a way. Yes, this is the first line of blah blah blah. Let me ask you something else. What can you tell me about the Faceless? Oh, the Faceless, our arch-nemesis, he laughs. They are from the very beginnings of Institute of Chart. The Faceless were poking their augmented noses into our business and try to hamper our progress. They are violent, cannot be reasoned with, they don't even have free will. I am not over-exaggerating, they never show any emotion or independence. They just cull. We know it, we have seen it. They seem to give you a lot of trouble. They try, or tried. The first years of the Institute were the hardest for us. We didn't have a strong foothold in deep caverns, and defending Chart from the corrupted was very difficult. We were in constant conflict, shredding blood on a daily basis. Then, in year 42, we took a decisive victory in the Battle of Nucleus. Harmost Marshall commanded our reservoirs and gave the Faceless a lesson in warfare they'll never forget. So they left you alone after that? They never mounted any major assaults against preservation forces since that defeat. In the next 60 years, only regular skirmishes were a sign that they were still alive. And I don't even believe they have shown their dystrophic bodies in 10, maybe 15 years, until now, when they assaulted Core City. Well, that's enough about that, no? Did you have any more questions, brother? Can I ask you some questions about diesem? Isn't it better to ask someone from propagation, no? One of the ministers, or better yet, Preposta Amelia? I mean, it is their job to teach novitiates and hold lectures. Now, don't get me wrong, we can sit here and chat about diesem all day long, but I don't want to be teaching you basic concepts of diesem if that is what you seek of me. Any more questions? Perform the shortest salute. Short guide you, Mediant. Short guide you too, Kordanor. Ach so, wir wollten ja auch noch die Aufgabe von dem annehmen. About the work you said you had for me? Yes, I can see you are interested in becoming a part of the preservation, no? I would just like to see what my options are here. There's much to be done in the Institute. Very smart. The Institute is indeed a place of possibilities, and I can understand you have so much to learn and so many options to consider. Allow me to present to you, and let's see what you think of it. I have a simple job for you. You are aware of the destructive force that was the recent earthquake. It did terrible damage throughout Underrail. Unfortunately, the Institute wasn't spared from its wrath either. One of the walls in the utility section, a couple of levels below us, has collapsed, revealing a passage to the long-abandoned Harpocrates station. Minor damage, all things considered, which is lucky for us. However, it poses a security risk. As you may have already guessed, it was actually recently discovered for the breach happened in one of the locked rooms no one entered for a long time. We hadn't noticed what happened until, well, I can't remember who it was, but someone went there and witnessed the chaos. Naturally, a reservoir unit was dispatched to scan the area, and it was free of threats at the time. When we later checked some of the old plans, however, we noticed that Utility Station 7, west of Harpocrates main hall, has a long tunnel leading somewhere far away. Pipeline goes through it, so the plans show, but I am worried about something else coming through. You understand me, no? I need someone to explore that utility station and secure it. Someone. He smiles. I'll check out that utility station, just tell me how to get there. Go down the stairs by Aiden's library and you see a couple of reservoirs. They will give you the key and let you through to the station. There's another set of stairs further to the right, but do not go there. It is a utility area which suffered a few gas leaks after the earthquake and is currently unsafe. That is all for now, brother. Come back once you are sure that the area is secure. Short guide you. Perform the shortest salute. Short guide you too, Mediant. Ekriprops 4. The Faceless are noting nothing compared to the preservation forces. Proven. Efretia Hannah. This young woman welcomes you by putting her hand on her chest and follows with a verbal greeting. Her bright and high-pitched voice sounds pleasant and matches her petiteness perfectly. On the other hand, the full combat uniform that she is wearing, complete with a mask she never removes, a characteristic you notice in reservoirs throughout the Institute, creates a different, if conflicting, visual image. Chord's evolution. I am Efretor Hannah, Armory Keeper for Institute of Chord. You are Kordanor, if I'm not mistaken? Evolutionist Chord. Yes, I am him. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you too, Kordanor. Under Median Samuel's direct orders, you are allowed to access to Preservation's Armory, despite the fact that you are not a reservoir yet. Of course, Armory access is not free, so prepare some charons before making a purchase. How and why did you join Institute of Chord? Institute born here, she laughs. That means I've been exposed to Chordism all my life, and I am glad for it. I was lucky. Outsiders who come here as novitiates always talk how difficult life on the outside is. Poverty, disease, bandits, wars even. While we do have our own problems here, namely with the faceless and, as of late, lunatics, the quality of life in the Institute is unmatched by anything in South Underrail. All in all, the Institute is totally apex. She laughs. Have you ever been outside? Other than a few upper Underrail patrols, when I was a reservoir trainee, I've never went too far from the institute. I saw nothing of interest during that time anyway. Totally nothing, so I did not really feel the need to see what lies beyond. I'm sure it's more of the same. I have got everything I need right here. I have friends, family, and this totally apex armory. And I suppose I have a purpose. Shortism is something you dedicate your life to, something that fulfills you. All in all, I have everything here. What can you tell me about Median Samuel? His notability is a dedicated shortist and a good man, and it is an honor and privilege to be a reservoir under his command. He can be strict, but he is always just. Is he in charge of all forces, or... No, Kordanor, that would be His Excellency. Harmos Stavros, Median, as a rank, is someone who relays Harmos commands to Ephretas and reservoirs. The middle link in the command chain, so to say. But since His Excellency is in deep caverns at the moment, he left Median Samuel in command of the Institute forces up here. So in a way, he is in command, but only temporary. I'd like to see what you have in store. SMG, Tabi Boots. Ja, super. Oh, gar nicht mal so gut. Aber die hat auf jeden Fall das Potenzial, sehr gute Gegenstände zu haben. Oh, und die hat eine ganze Menge an Krams. Und da kann man Sachen verkaufen. Firearms, Metal Armors, Rights und so weiter. Ja. Wow, Value 4. Ja. Die kauft immer Bullets. Okay. Dann können wir von hier aus auch wieder weitergehen. Ich glaube, hier war sonst niemand. Brother. Allrecom. Okay. Dann geht's runter. Jetzt gehen wir wahrscheinlich auf die andere Ebene wieder. Wo auf der anderen Seite die Library war. Ne. Acolytes. Ist ein bisschen seltsam, schwer zu erkennen, was jetzt davon ein Name ist. Okay, Acolyte ist natürlich kein Name, aber was ein Titel ist. Gehen wir mal. Shortest. Der hat kein Mantel an. Gehen wir darüber. Ah ja, okay. Passt. Jetzt haben wir hier auch noch zwei Gegenden. Aha. Das ist dann wohl die Wissensecke. Percival, das ist ja von der Stadt. You recognize the familiar face of Minister Percival, and he instantly recognizes yours too. Short as evolution, brother. I am terribly sorry, but I am currently engaged in a conversation with these acolytes. Could you please seek me at some other time? Whatever. Sorry for disturbing you. Short guide you. Dann machen wir die Tür auf und dann ist das Licht aus. Was soll denn das darstellen? Ja. Das scheinen dann die Offices zu sein. Da ist aber niemand. Okay, war jetzt nicht so spektakulär. Dann gehen wir noch hier runter. Da dürfte jetzt unser Schlafsaal und auch, glaube ich, der Heiler sein. Investigator. Year 97. Was? Year 97 was good year for our department. Aha. Und da wird's nochmal groß. Gehen wir dahin. Physics Laboratory. Monsignor Marshall is the most famous harmist of the preservation forces. Aha. Schön. Bzzz. Sollen wir uns mal reinstellen? Ja, das ist tödlich. Investigator, Assistant, Aidin. A nightmarish visage stares at you with its barren eyes. Tentacle-like extensions hanging from the lower part of the mask only add to the already intimidating sight. While it is only that, a mask, it seems natural to wonder if what is beneath it could be even more frightening. This tall, imposing figure is Aidin, a founder of Institute of Chart. There is no doubt about it. He wears a long, decorated robe that exhibits a ghastly flow with every move he makes, all of which are controlled and deliberate. Also, a symbol of an eye with 5 tentacles growing out of it stamps the robe with the highest rank you've seen any of the Chartists have. He lowers his head to look at you and delivers his words in a profoundly deep voice, only slightly impeded by his terrifying mask. Chartist evolution, Kordanor. Finally we met. I would like to officially introduce myself. I am Aidin. I never had the opportunity to thank you for returning the set piece to Institute of Chart. If it had stayed in the hands of the devolved, I would have been greatly disappointed. Well done. Evolutionist Chart, I retrieved the figurine in your name, illustrious Aidin. Hey, I got the chance to deliver some pain to those derailed freaks and join Institute of Chart. Pure win. It was nothing but pleasure. Now is the time for me to finally end the existence of this twisted cult, one corpse at a time. Evolutionist Chart. In that I have no doubt. Kordanor, we rarely get to witness such valiant effort from those who were yet to become a part of our institution. Now, I apologize, but I cannot speak to you at this time. I have come here to oversee the department and discuss certain matters with some of the investigators. Still, I am sure we will converse again when the time allows. I'm sorry if I bothered you. Short guide you. Short guide you. Guide us all, Kordanor. Kiro. Investigator Kiro. This thin man seems uninterested in you at first glance, as his facial expression doesn't change at all when he notices you trying to start a conversation, and his body language doesn't differ. What you also find peculiar is the fact that he almost never breaks eye contact, but maintains it during the whole conversation. Luckily, he blinks in regular intervals, or else the mechanical stare would seem even more awkward. Also, it comes as no surprise that his tone of voice is as flat as his excitement for the conversation he is engaged in. Short is evolution. I'm Investigator Cairo, and who are you? Evolution is short, brother. I am Kordanor and wanted to ask you a few questions. No problem at all, brother. What is on your mind? I am in need of some high-tech gadgetry and components. I guess this would be the right place to ask. There are components and devices that I may be able to offer you for purchase, but I must have P.I. Steff's permission before I can actually do so. Can you go ask him? Okay, just tell me where I can find him. His office is the one with double doors, just by the resonance transformer. Hard to miss it, brother. Can you tell me who's in charge here? That would be Principal Investigator Steff. He runs the Department of Physics. He should be in his office in case you need him. Anything else on your mind, brother? Short guide you. Short guide you, brother. Steff. The investigator seems to have just finished typing something on his keyboard when you walked in. The final keystroke coincides with you coming to a halt before him. He lifts his head and observes you through his glasses and instantly notices one detail, that there is a smudge on them. Naturally, he removes the glasses, picks up a handkerchief from his drawer, and begins wiping the lenses clean. As he is doing so, the conversation begins. Short is evolution. I haven't seen you before, brother, and you must be here either to appreciate the light show produced by our resonant transformer, or to do some scientific investigation. Either is acceptable. He smiles. I am Principal Investigator Steff, but please just call me Steff. And you are? Evolution is short, brother. I'm Kordanor, and I have a few questions. I have no objections to that, Kordanor. Ask whatever questions you had. What can you tell me about this department? Well, now, this is the Department of Physics, and that is exactly what we do here. Physics, he laughs. We have our little lab here and our own personal practice accelerator even, and we are pretty much have our hands free to do whatever we desire. We perform tests, experiments, and make new discoveries in attempt further aid this instruction and its goals. Sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, physics is fun, Apex. And don't let anyone try to convince you otherwise. I suppose the only downside is that we sometimes tend to be underappreciated. I fear, by the other departments, like physicists, play with their own toys, blah blah blah. Aiden, pardon me for saying that, but it can be on my can get on my nerves sometimes. But when we do show them something, Apex, then their jaws instantly crack the floor. He smiles. Why did you join the Institute of Chort? That was a long time ago, he laughs. I'm going to give you a simple answer here. There's no need to go into a lot of details. Here's a single sentence. I always had imagination, and here I could make it reality. That's all there is to it, brother. Why did you join the Institute of George? I'm interested in purchasing some tech stuff, if you got any available. An unusual request, but one I can respond to positively. Talk to Investigator Cairo and tell him I gave you permission. The selection should be satisfying, I'm sure. Where can I find him? He's over by the practice accelerator, probably doing some calculations. He's a brilliant mathematician, so I allow him to do all the difficult math for me. He laughs. I was wondering if you had any work I could help you with. His face suddenly turns grim. Interesting choice of words, Kordanor. How so? I mentioned it was interesting because of a young reservoir who came to me with those exact same words you just spoke. I mean, he was interested in what we do here and wanted to help. Please continue. His name is Pavel. At the time of his arrival, the department was testing a terahertz or T-ray emitter that would allow us to perform through-wall imaging. I hope you are able to understand how useful such a technology could be to us all. Just imagine. Better leave the long talk for later and return to Reservoir Pavel. He was a man who clearly missed his call, a member of the preservation forces who had more interest in scientific investigation than anything else. He would often drop by our lab and was, no doubt about it, genuinely interested in all the wonders of physics. Some 2 days ago, he dropped by the lab and found out the full possibilities of through-wall imaging, which made him even more interested and excited. I told him about wanting to somehow test the emitter in a very active environment, and since the West Wing had been reopened, he personally volunteered to go there and plant the device. I thought it was too dangerous, and, well, now I asked him how was he going to do that without me and Samuel finding out, but he convinced me he had a plan, and everything was going to be apex. Well, I guess I sent him to his doom, for he hasn't returned still, and I regret ever accepting that risk in the first place. That is a very sad story, but the whole idea about through-wall imaging is quite interesting. Can you tell me more about these emitters? He thought he could do anything, poor man. I had other things. I will go for him. I go look for him if you'd like me to. No, I'm not sending anyone else to there. I made that awful mistake the first time. Eden pardon me. He just insisted so much. He really wanted the technology to work. So much, in fact, he was willing to risk his life. I don't want to risk yours or anyone else's. I am not a rookie, Steff. I can handle myself quite well. If Pavel is alive, then he is possibly hurt and unable to return on his own. By the chart, this is all so messed up, he sighs. Go then. Go to the West Wing. Should you find him, bring him back. If there's anything to bring back. The emitter is not important, but returning it wouldn't be frowned upon. Short guide you, Kordanor. I'm on the way, brother. Short guide you. Nein, da will ich nicht reinlaufen. Wäre natürlich hart, wenn die hier durch ihre Idle, ich glaube, die haben feste Wege, die entlang laufen, aber es wäre natürlich, naja, wenn die da selber reinlaufen würden und sich kaputt brutzeln würden, ja. Investigator Cairo. Principal Investigator Steff told me I could purchase high-tech stuff from you. Of course, brother. Oh, please wait a moment and I will show you what is available. EMP Grenade, EMP Mine. Ja. Sonic Components, Electronic Device, Parts, Energy Weapon will er haben. Alles Unsinn quasi. Dann sind wir fast durch mit der Ebene. Noch 2 Dinger. Da kommen jetzt die beiden anderen Leader, beziehungsweise einer. Der andere war ja irgendwie beschäftigt oder so. Oder Posten unbelegt. Chemistry Laboratory. The phasers are nothing compared to the preservation forces. Octavia. The woman carefully places down a beaker full of purple liquid as soon as you come near. On the table in front of her, you see numerous glassware, beakers, flasks, vials. It is all there. She lowers the protective mask, covering her mouth, and starts the conversation. Chart is evolution. I don't think we've met before. I'm Octavia, Investigator Octavia. I'm Kordanor. I hope you're not too busy to answer a few questions for me. Evolution is chart. My name is Kordanor. She nods. So, how can I help you? Is there a way I can acquire some chemicals around here? Well, I happen to be in charge of the chemical inventory, but you'd have to ask our PI, Georges, for permission. He is in the office right over there. If he says yes, then come back to me, brother. Can you tell me who's in charge here? That would be PI Georges. You can find him in his office right over there, behind those double doors. What does PI stand for? Oh, it stands for Principal Investigator. A Principal Investigator is the head of specific department. Our PI is Investigator Georges, while, for example, that would be PI Rister for the Genetics Department, or PI Steff for Physics. While we are at it, the departments belong to Investigation, which is the name of one of Institute of George's divisions, are overseen by the Episcopos. Currently, that would be Episcopos Lydia. That should give you just a basic idea how things function in investigation. Short guide, you sister. You too, brother. You too. As soon as he notices you, the man in a white lab coat closes a folder he was straining to read and greets you with a firm handshake. His bloodshot eyes are drowning in fatigue, something which rubbing of his eyes, which he performs from time to time, simply cannot remove, but can only relieve for a bit. Still, he appears as alert and focused enough, and above all, friendly during your conversation. Oh, hello brother, Chorda's Evolution, I am Principal Investigator Georges and I run the Department of Chemistry, a part of your investigation, in case you didn't know. Evolutionist Chord, I am Kordanor. Ah, yes, you helped Efretia Denzel get the Reaching Man from Lunatics, yes, right. Aiden was very pleased to have the figurine finally in his hands. Tell me now, how may I help you? Why did you join the Institute of George? That happened a long time ago, some 15 years ago. I used to work as a chemist in Core City. I was young and ambitious, but those ambitions were at least temporarily shattered when news that Biocorp was overtaken by the Protectorate came from North Underrail. By the chart, I still remember when the rioters broke into my home and started thrashing and pillaging inbred primitives. So I left Core City and sought the, at the time extremely unfamiliar, Institute of Chord. I've heard of it from some friends of mine, and I came upon those same entrance gates. Yes, I remember it still. The moment I stepped through the gate, I felt something. From a bleak outlook on life, I suddenly felt my ambitions waking up again. And I guess I managed to realize those ambitions. Investigation was a natural choice for me, and therefore I started as an assistant chemist. Few years later, and after a lot of hard work, I became a proper investigator and led some of my own projects. Then finally, in year 92, I became a principal investigator. Next stop, Episcopos Georges, he laughs. I am joking, of course, but who knows? Is there a way for me to get hold of some chemicals around here? It is rare for someone to come with that request, but I don't see why not. Go talk to Investigator Octavia. She can sell you some of the chemicals we have in excess. Just tell her I gave you permission. Where can I find her? She is right outside my office. You walk past her on your way here. I mean, unless you somehow... He pauses, trying to find the right words to say. Never mind, forget. I wanted to say anything. Forget I wanted to say anything, he yawns. I should get some sleep. I'm looking for some work. Oh, interested in becoming an investigator? That is Apex. Excellent. Institute of Chord welcomes young a prosperous man such as yourself. You know, an old quote by illustrious Aiden just sprang to my mind. Shortists are like nucleotides from which DNA is composed. Small building blocks that together form something truly great. Actions of each individual lead to the creation of something better. Every one piece of the puzzle is important. Ja, eine super Pickup-Line war das aber nicht gerade. If you are willing to become a piece just like the rest of us, then together we will complete the puzzle. Yes. In any case, I have some work just for you. I am as ready as I'll ever be. I want to do some sciencey stuff! Yes, right. I currently need you to help me with two things. First is related to an experimental chemical weapon, a pistol to be precise, that needs some combat testing. Judging from your recent history of lunatic decimation, you should have shouldn't have trouble with this one, he laughs. Those feral creatures. Anyway, the second is related to the matter of locating and retrieving research data our department would find very, very useful. It would require you to leave the institute building. I haven't left the building since I got here. It was around 85, if I remember correctly, at the time of Core City riots, so I don't know how much outside has changed, and therefore how much will my directions be accurate. So, brother, are you still interested? If you are, I can give you the details. Tell me more about that experimental chemical pistol. Yes, right, the chemical pistol somewhere around year 97, where we approached by Preservation about us helping them design a more advanced chemical weapon than what was available at the time. Something truly epic. You see, Harmos Stavros desired oil reservoir expeditions in the deep caverns to be equipped with several chemical weapons per combat unit. During their time down there, the reasons for that were of logistical nature. A combat unit could use naturally occurring caustic chemicals, acids, which are abundant in deep caverns and can be obtained from living or environmental sources and be self-sufficient ammunition-wise, therefore maintaining a constant combat capability. Go on. Which brings us to XAL-001. That is short for Experimental Acid Launcher. It offers a great improvement in terms of fire rate and ergonomics over the available models currently in use. And we are planning further attachments to increase capacity and to help one processing of raw chemicals in the field. Yada yada yada. So summing up, we believe it to be a truly epic design. Again, where do I come in? Yes, right. Listen now, Kordanor, while we are pleased so far with how the prototype turned out, it still needs some field testing before it can finally enter production. That is where you come in, brother. I need you to test the weapon, preferably on lunatics or the faceless. You had successfully dealt with the former in the past, so I have no doubt that you will enjoy the work. Bottom line is, if you are interested, I can give you XAL-001 right this very moment so that you may test it. With Chart's guidance, of course. He laughs. I will test XAL-001 for you. May I have it? Ah, Apex, here it is in all its glory. He hands you the chemical pistol. There, and some ammo. Almost forgot. I want you to abuse the weapon. That is the goal of the test. Also, if anyone bothers you at the main entrance, just tell them you are performing weapon tests for Principal Investigator Georges. For how long do I need to use the weapon? The longer the better. Really, remember the weapon was designed for use in extreme conditions, so abuse it appropriately, he laughs. Once you think the weapon is up to par with the task, let me know. Well, I'm off to use this bad boy. See you later, investigator. Understand? I will do as you're instructed. Short guide you. Short guide you too, Kordanor, and he yawns, sorry, short guide you and good luck. Tell me about... Oh, it's you, brother. Tell me about the research data you need. Yes, right. Let me tell you of an old Biocorp facility by the name of Hecate Research Outpost, which exists somewhat in lower Underrail. It is a small facility which usually wouldn't be worthy of our time, usually. We, Institute of Chart, have recently acquired a document which suggests that some interesting data on a protein design can be found there. Apparently, they did some projects there and, well, if they were able to identify any novel sequences, it could be of great use. Ja, genau. Habe ich schon. Therefore, I would like you to visit this place and snoop around and see what you can find, if something can be found. The facility is located somewhere to the east of Core City. We don't have an exact location, but shouldn't be too far away from it. So what do you say, brother? Are you interested in making contribution to the Institute? I am, as a matter of fact. I already have been there and have the data here. You what? Oh, that is Apex, brother. I'll send this right through my assistants. And this is for you, brother. He gives you 300 Stygian coins. I will mention this to Episkopos Lydia at the next symposium. I have no fear. Listen, if you keep this up, you might have a good future investigation. Honestly. You mentioned protein design. What is that? Aiden, pardon me, I suppose I missed explaining that. Protein design... Was? Protein design it, by definition, a creation of a new protein molecules that will fold or assume a certain shape to a certain protein structure, and the whole reason why we would want to do that, brother, is so that we can create proteins with completely new or slightly varied functions. Since proteins are one of the most important biomolecules with numerous functions, you can see why designing new sequences is such an important task. Yes, right, that should be the gist of it. Short guide, you Georges. He nods. Short guide, you too, Kordanor. Und Zeit für einen Schnitt. Und dann gehen wir beim nächsten Mal noch in den anderen Flügel. Und hier unten, das gucken wir uns auch noch an. Bis denn.